Good evening, I'm Camelia and you're watching KiniNews. UMNO's top 5 leaders met this afternoon ahead of the highly anticipated Supreme Council meeting tonight to discuss when GE15 should be held. Will Ismail Sabri bow to pressure from party president Zahid Hamidi, or he will act like a prime minister for all Malaysians? Lim Guan Eng has some advice to share.
DAP chairperson Lim Guan Eng has reminded Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob that he serves 32 million Malaysians and not only UMNO. This comes as the top 5 UMNO leaders are scheduled to meet tonight to discuss the 15 general election date. Lim said as such, any decision taken must prioritise the people's interests, safety and well-being over the selfish political interests of UMNO. The DAP leader added that such a reminder bears greater urgency following a statement by Met Malaysia yesterday that the country will go through a monsoon transition phase starting October 3rd until the end of November. The Bagan MP said Met Malaysia stated that during this monsoon transition phase, the country will encounter thunderstorms that could potentially trigger flash floods. Lim noted that the government has a duty to allow voters to cast their ballots in an orderly, safe, secure and calm environment instead of having to wade through the flood waters. All eyes are on the UMNO Supreme Council meeting tonight, where a decision is expected to be made on the date for GE15. Zahid had been pushing for an early election despite warnings of possible flash floods during the monsoon season.
It's no open secret that Zahid wants the elections to take place as soon as possible, so we have an idea what his positions will be at the meeting tonight, and how he says the election could even be held before the floods.
UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi continues his push for the general election to be held this year. In a Facebook post this morning, he argued that if Parliament is dissolved, the interim Prime Minister will still have the powers to tackle floods. He also said it would be difficult for the opposition to shine during this period. He explained that the opposition feels stressed about this scenario. Zahid said this is because the opposition is unable to compete on a level playing field with the ruling parties when Parliament is dissolved. According to Zahid, apart from ensuring the government continues to function after Parliament is dissolved, the interim Prime Minister can also hold a National Flood Disaster Management meeting. He added that the election could be held before the floods. Previously, Zahid claimed the opposition is using the floods narrative to avoid the general election because it has lost Malay support. On the other hand, PKR Deputy President Rafizi Ramli has launched an online petition against holding the general election during the monsoon season. As of 11:30 a.m. today, the petition garnered close to 11,000 signatures.
You've probably seen people trying to chuck groceries into their car, but have you seen people trying to chuck another human being into a car, especially against their will? Well, you're about to see. The man was free hours later, suffering injuries.
A businessman endured terror after being taken by a group of men. However, he was released a few hours later. According to Ampang Jaya Police Chief ACP Muhammad Farouk Ishak, the 38-year-old victim was walking alone after having a meal at a restaurant in Jalan Pandan in Ampang yesterday when a group of men forced him into a white Toyota Velfire. He said police received the report on the incident at 5:03 p.m. The man turned up at the Ampang Jaya headquarters at about 10:45 p.m., saying that he was freed in Klang. According to police, he sustained injuries on his feet and face and has been treated at the Ampang hospital. Police believe the abduction was caused by a dispute over a debt. The police are now tracking down the suspects in the case. Videos of the incident had gone viral on social media since yesterday. One footage shot by a passerby shows the abductors forcing the victim into the Velfire. Muhammad Farouk thanked members of the public who tried to help in the incident and urged people to avoid borrowing money from unlicensed money lenders.
Khalid has one word to describe claims that Malaysians suffered under Harapan's 22-month rule, and the word is hypocrisy.
Amanah Communications Director Khalid Abdul has slammed UMNO and PAS for claiming that Malaysians suffered for 22 months under Pakatan Harapan's federal rule. Khalid described the claims as hypocrisy by UMNO and PAS. The opposition lawmakers said Harapan had in fact washed off the dirt that UMNO left behind after more than 60 years of rule. He said as the 15th general election nears, UMNO and PAS are busy using the rotten 22 months of suffering narrative to attack Harapan. He added that these claims are far from the truth as the Rakyat can see for themselves Harapan's achievements. He was responding to the remark by UMNO Secretary General Ahmad Maslan that the Rakyat will never forget the days of suffering they experienced under the Harapan and PN governments. As such, Ahmad said UMNO should return to power for the good of the public and the country.
Meanwhile, BN up north has not received the memo of a ceasefire, so they're going to continue putting the heat on the PAS government.
Kedah, BN, and UMNO are not observing a ceasefire against their Pakatan National and PAS counterparts. In a statement today, Kedah BN Communications Director Shaiful Hazizi Zainul Abidin said his coalition will continue its outreach efforts as usual. He said BN promises to resolve all the problems caused by the ruling Kedah PAS government, especially in issues such as water, the economy, and its unclear agenda. He also said BN will put an end to the frog government because they have no principles or integrity. He added that the government, which BN and UMNO will form, will offer a new agenda for Kedah. Shaiful Hazizi was responding to a Malaysia Kini report 2 days ago that UMNO's online activists have been told to observe a ceasefire with PAS. This followed a meeting between UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and PAS President Abdul Hadi Awang on September 17th.
MACC is probing a cartel in the Shah Alam City Council. However, the mayor does not appear to be involved as he is said to have returned to work.
The Shah Alam City Council today refuted claims that its mayor, Zamani Ahmad Mansoor, has been arrested by the MACC. In a statement today, MBSA said Zamani was only called by the MACC last Wednesday to assist in the investigation. The probe is over tenders for projects in the city. It also said the Shah Alam mayor returned to work as usual yesterday. Yesterday, the media reported that MACC had uncovered a cartel believed to be monopolizing project tenders in the local council. This is after the MACC raided the local authorities' office last Sunday. MACC Chief Commissioner Azambaki said so far, 9 individuals, including several MBSA staff and a senior officer, had been arrested to assist in the investigation.
High-profile cases, especially those involving politicians, is why the MACC wishes to be independent. Even being placed under parliament is worrying Azambaki.
MACC Chief Commissioner Azambaki has raised the concern of possible political intervention. Azam said this would be the case if the anti-graft agency is placed under parliament for the sake of transparency. He stressed that the MACC is already an independent body that can initiate investigations on its own. Therefore, Azam said the graft busters' status should be fiercely defended. He said if the MACC is placed under parliament, it is likely that it will have to follow policies that are set by politicians. With its existing position, Azam said the MACC does not need to act according to politicians' instructions when investigating. Citing UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's foreign visa system case, he said when the Ultra Kirana Sendirian Berhad ledger emerged, the MACC started investigating all the names mentioned without needing anyone to lodge a report. Instead of putting MACC under the purview of Parliament, Azam said it was more important to ensure the Chief Commissioner is not abruptly removed. However, Azam said the MACC is not against reform.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.